Did you ever wonder? I do. Did you ever wonder why the sun always rises, but the stars never fall? Why dry land is never satisfied by water? And why fire never says enough?
So today on Bible Wonders, let's wonder about the power of witness. Like to be somebody's witness, like it says in Acts chapter 1, verse 8, where it says you'll receive power on high to be my witness. So how do you get this power? Well, you know, in the car business, we explained it like this. It was something we taught every new salesman, that presentation without demonstration is mere conversation. And to give you a practical example of that, you know, we sold Jeep Wranglers, or, you know, what looked like the old Jeep CJs. And the nice thing about Jeep Wranglers in those days is most of them didn't have a top. And it was one thing to experience a Jeep, you know, riding in it with the top up and the doors on and all that other stuff. But if you took the top down and you took the doors off, literally took the doors off so that there were no doors, and then you went and got on a dirt road somewhere and you put it in four-wheel drive, then all of a sudden it was a completely different experience than just driving the car. Now, you could talk all day long about how cool it was to take off the doors and all that, but when you actually put the person to the seat and they experienced four-wheel drive and four-wheel drive low, and the power of that was phenomenal. Well, the idea is that you can tell people all day long about, you know, what God can do and how God can do it, and things that you learned in the Bible. But actually what you witnessed him doing is like this phenomenal, powerful thing. But I remember one time my son had this new girlfriend, and I kind of got set up that, you know, she really was in favor of homosexuality. And so my kids kind of entrapped me, wanting me to get in trouble with her, which the trap worked. In other words, I could see that she began to get angry at me in this discussion, and all of a sudden I just shifted gears, I'm sure by power of the Holy Spirit. It wasn't my idea. But I just said, you know, sexual sin is sexual sin, and undoubtedly I've had my share of that, and so I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more that none of us are without sin. See, after my discussion with her about, you know, I'm far from perfect, I said, I'll never forget when I was once like you, where I didn't believe in God, and I didn't think there was any real reason to begin to even think about it until I read this book by Norman Vincent Peale, and I took her into my story. I shared with her that I went from this position of feeling I certainly wasn't qualified to have a relationship with God based on all the things that I had done wrong. And as I began to understand why Jesus really did have to die and that he did take my place, he paid for those sins that I had done so that I could actually have a relationship with him, which would help me not only in falling more in love with God, but falling more in love with other people. When I shared with her how God had really changed my life, she actually became intrigued and all of a sudden wanted to know more about how that happened. And the next thing I know, she became the producer of the Christian Car Guy radio show and ended up doing a documentary on me at Elon College. Went from being, you know, completely against God or any concept of Christians to definitely seeing God as part of the solution. Even though she was raised Catholic and she had some understanding of those things, she'd never had a practical experience with God. And once she saw that was possible, she entered into that in her own way. Again, a presentation without demonstration of how that actually worked out in your life. Your witness is where your power is. And so if you wonder, how can I talk to somebody about God? Well, one of the best ways I can think of is to talk about what he actually has done in your life. Something to wonder about today in Bible Wonders.
Did you ever wonder?